Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, and you're listening to Gabe Infinity Watch. Keep it up.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Gabe Infinity Watch coming back at you with another in-depth showcase spotlight review. And this time it's on the amazing Absolute Wildcats from Jim Lee and DC Comics. We'll be right back and we'll get that started up and on this review. But first, thank you everybody who's been watching my videos, giving positive reviews and thumbs up. Other than that, make sure to check out Omni Bros Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday live, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, on topics, hauls, reviews, weekly releases, and all that great stuff as well. Again, thanks everybody. We'll be right back with Absolute Wildcats by Jim Lee. Thank you. All right, everybody, let's take a look at the Absolute Wildcats from Jim Lee. This is the newest Absolute to come out from DC Comics, and the first Absolute to really come out when it comes down to the original Image books. I mean, granted, all the other Image books are still owned by Image. Jim Lee was the first one or only one to sell his stuff over and merge it with another company. It's at DC now, and Wildstorm is at DC. But this is an absolute beautiful, I just said absolute like 4 times in a row. That's crazy. But it's an absolutely beautiful book here, for sure. This is an original cover here that Jim Lee did for this slipcase. And we'll just do the great old spin around here so everybody gets a chance to see all the roundabouts of this issue. You got all the great characters, all the original characters in here as well. Here's the spine of the actual Absolute itself. And then let's take this out and let's take a look at the actual cover of the book. Now, this is not an original new piece of artwork. This was actually, I believe this was an image, a reused image being used from a Wizard cover. If you guys remember, if you remember Wizard magazine, I believe this is issue 25, 27, somewhere around there, that this was originally used for. And something else here that I don't think has been used before, I might be incorrect, but from my collection, everything I can think of off the top of my head, this is the first to not have a slipcase. There is no dust jacket on here at all. Artwork is all printed on the actual hardcover board itself, which if you're watching my videos before, you know I much prefer the artwork to be on the hardcover itself. I'm not a fan of dust jackets. The paper quality on this book is great as well. We'll get into that when we get into the inside in-depth look, but we do have ribbon in here. This is, of course, I don't think there's ever an Absolute that's ever been glued that I know of, but this is sewn binding. You get a bookmark ribbon, which is awesome. I love little touches like that. You can see that the binding looks great on here as well. Beautiful image here by Jim Lee. Even though it's a classic, nothing new, I love it. I have the Wizard magazine that this is a part of. And that's it for the spin around, guys. Give me a quick second. We'll get back to this and we'll open her up and take a look at the inside contents as well. All right, buddy. So let's go ahead and let's go inside and let's take a look at the Absolute Wildcats by Jim Lee. So here we have creator credits. Of course, Jim Lee, Chris Claremont, Grant Morrison, Mark Silvestri for writing. Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri Ryan Benjamin, Brett Booth, Travis Charest, Rich Johnson, Dan Norton on pencils, Scott Williams, and a handful of other inkers. We got the colorists on here, letterers. We got the whole shebang when it comes down to this creator list. That's excellent stuff. Table of contents. Wildcats issues 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a part of the Killer Instinct storyline. 8, 9. Gathering of Eagles, issues 10, 11, 12, 13. And then we jump to issue 50. And then also in here is the Wildcats X-Men Silver Age issue, which is really neat because it's Jim Lee doing X-Men again. But also, Wildcats got top billing on that title. They were above the X-Men. X-Men Wildcats, this is the Grant Morrison, seriously underrated but very low run. There's only one issue that came out. So we got the issue 1. Issue 2 here, but we actually get the script. So that's really awesome as well that we'll get to see in here. And then a load of extras. So here's a introduction about the series and kind of a history of Wildcats by Brandon Choi. And then from here, we'll go ahead and start with the issues. Here's the new coloring. The coloring on this is great for issue number 1 here. And one thing in here, the pages are really nice. It's super glossy, as you can tell. It's not thin, it's not super thick. But the paper quality on this is actually quite nice and has a good feel to it, I guess. I don't know. It feels nice to turn the pages on this. So here's issue 1 of Wildcats. We first get introduced to Void. And then we got Jacob Marlowe here, who is like the leader of the Wildcats. And just look at the great coloring. This is all recolored, like I said. Image Comics, when they first burst onto the scene, they were known for, I'm guessing, being the original or the first publisher to actually really do computer coloring as a default. Like they always started out and always did digital colors and computer graphic colors on their books from the get-go. Here's a nice double-page spread, the introduction of Void and Voodoo. I'm getting all the characters turned around today, guys. Excuse me. Voodoo here at the strip club when Grifter finds her to try and get her away from the Damonites. So yeah, I mean, but with this new recoloring, everything just pops like so much more than it did before. And usually recoloring is kind of odd, and you can kind of see like the differences, and it kind of overtakes the line work. But just the artwork in here was originally created for this kind of coloring and this kind of texturing and everything like that. So this looks great on this paper. This oversized artwork is just, this is how Jim Lee's artwork should always be admired and read, I believe, because this is just great stuff. I mean, these big one-page panel splashes, these sideways pages are great. And that's one thing that we're going to see a lot in this book. And this is because of Image being the, a creator-owned publisher that was spearheaded by artists at the time. There's a lot of experimentations that you'll see here in the artwork, the panel layout, storytelling, and things like that, you'll see stories and you'll hear interviews from the original founding members of Image saying how that was one of the reasons they left, was that they were always told you can't do that kind of panel, you can't do that page layout, you can't break the borders. But that's something that you'll see a lot in here, and you'll notice that it works. That kind of panel layout and that kind of artwork really just shines in these kind of storytelling and this kind of artwork because it's done the right way. Like this is double page spread. I mean, it's wonderful. Everything is very clear. The storytelling is sharp. Everybody has, front-facing profiles. Everybody's well known. There's nobody like half covered up or missing on these pages. The artwork here is great, and you see just Spartan here just getting destroyed here by Chapel. But we'll get into that a little bit more. We'll see some more stuff in here where I'm really talking about when it comes down to experimentation and just never before seen elements in comics that were only really started out here in image books, especially something like here in Wildcats. So here's issue 4, excuse me. Really just great, just Hellspot, just all this great artwork. I mean, he's all just energy, and he just has like this like black head here. It kind of looks like Surtur from Ragnarok. But just the coloring with the energy and everything like that, just, man, this is beautiful stuff. The lighting, the shadowing, great stuff on here. Now I'll start flipping through here a little bit more, because here comes some of that extra experimental stuff I was talking about here that you'll see a lot in Wildcats number 5. So like here we have Zealot and Grifter on a mission. They jump out of, or they fall from like this parachute, like glider in the sky, as Grifter shoots out the windows. It's a double page spread, but not just that. You also get these excellent, just 1, 2, 3, 4 page spread here. And it's it's a double gatefolded page. This isn't like a gatefolded cover that, you know, has been done to death before, but we're talking about just large spreads inside the actual book themselves. And the storytelling on here is great. I mean, you have Zealot's leg here that's kind of guiding you through the pages, so that you can follow along with what's going on. Same with Grifter's hands and the energy bursts off of his pistols. All that draws your eyes through the word bubbles and through the story. And that's why stuff like that works, when it's done the right way. And I'll just flip through this a little bit quicker for everybody. We're just getting, I don't want this to turn into just page after page of just quiet as we just look at the art. And again, another 1, 2 double gatefolded 4-panel or 4-page layout. And again, the storytelling with everything in here is just guiding you through the rest of the pages and through the story and the words and the lettering. It's great stuff. Again, when it's done right, it's a masterpiece. When somebody who does it who doesn't know what they're doing, it's pretty uninspired. Cyberforce number 1 for Killer Instinct prologue. Some fun, just Mark Silvestri goodness in here as well. And this Killer Instinct storyline is just so fun. I mean, it's really just a whole story of just, it's almost like a bank heist of everybody just running for their lives. And again, like the coloring, I remember this page in the original issues, the coloring here wasn't quite finished yet, and you could see that there was a lot of like just white just missing. And it's great. 20 plus years later, you get to see, I finally get to see this colored correctly and complete. And I'll just flip through here a little bit because I do want to get to the back. Wildcat 7 here. I do want to get to the back and start looking at the extras and the bonus content that is contained in this absolute. That's a great Warblade. Cyberforce 3. So that's interesting. None of the Cyberforce stuff issues were credited, but they're in here. That's too bad. I don't know what happened there. Which is good. I mean, not that it wasn't credited, but it's good that it's in here. So you actually do get the whole storyline. It's not just jumping around. You just get just the issues that were contained in the WildC.A.T.S title. Gratuitous fanboy butt shot there. You know, double page bikini splash. All right, it's just a little bit quicker here. I want to get to these extras because the extras in here are really bring this book around. Here's the Huntsman storyline written by Chris Claremont. Here's the Grant Morrison issue here, issue 1. And as I was saying, there is no issue 2, but we do get the scripts. And that's what's really fun about these absolutes and these premium format hardcovers is the extra features, is things like scripts. So if anybody here is inspiring comic book writer, you kind of get an idea of how Grant Morrison lays out his scripts a little bit. And then we get into the art gallery. You get to see some great Jim Lee pencil work in here. Here's the cover for the Absolute and the Wizard. It's Wizard 27. Okay, yeah, so 27 was the cover for Wizard. That's used for this. This is the cover for the original trade paperback hardcover from way back when. Death Blow. Can't have a 90s book without any kind of swimsuit action going on, so that's in there. I love the call out to Astral City here. Grifter and She. X-Men WildC.A.T.S X-Men Golden Age #1 there. That's a great cover. You get to see Wolverine again by Jim Lee. Gen 13 action. This is kind of different looking Jim Lee art, but I love these covers here. This is great stuff. And that's one thing you'll see in here, Divine Right cover, is you'll see some Jim Lee experimental art, or just, you know, really different outside the box art than what you're used to for Jim Lee. Here's the original artwork for the slipcase of the Absolute. Love this Grifter sketch, is awesome. This is used for a sketchbook. I think it was a Comic-Con exclusive sketchbook. And then here's, like I was saying, here's some of that watercolor painted work that Jim Lee used to, you know, try to use. Too bad he doesn't stick with this style more often or do covers this way, but this is fun. I like this. You see the sketch, you see the original, or the finished image. So here's the pencils by Jim Lee, colors, Alex Sinclair, inks by Scott Williams, of course. Little thumbnails, that's he was trying to decide what kind of, you know, layout to use, what kind of body positions. The original character designs. Some headshots and turnarounds. Warblade was definitely a different character back in the day. Or the original concept, I guess. And here, look at this great original covers. I don't want to say that these guys, this is like the, you know, Jim Lee's prime, but Jim Lee and Scott Williams were definitely firing on all cylinders. These guys are super inspired by this stuff during this time frame. And this ends on biographies from Jim Lee, Brandon Choi, Scott Williams, and Mark Silvestri. And there we go, everybody. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. I hope you enjoyed the videos here. Give this a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.